Okay, we're starting with the mushroom burgers. We're going to use the pre-sliced ones here from Trader Joe's, sliced crimini mushrooms. Sometimes I slice them manually, and sometimes I buy the pre-sliced. It just kind of depends on what mood I'm in. So using the pre-sliced ones today, of course you could use the white button ones instead of the criminis, up to you. One time we made them with half oyster mushrooms, so you're welcome to use whatever you particularly find interesting. It's important to put about a half tablespoon of oil in the pan. Oh, that one just flipped out, so let's get that guy back in the mix with the rest of them. And it's important to have the light at a high temperature so the mushroom starts to sweat, get all the moisture out. I started at about a 7 on this particular burger, which starts getting them to sweat pretty quickly, and the pot was pretty high. I would recommend cast iron type skillet or possibly stainless steel for this portion, as opposed to a non-stick such as a green pan or something similar to that. The benefit of this particular recipe is that, like many vegan burger recipes are made with black beans and other form of beans, sometimes kidney beans, and I find those to be particularly mushy, and they don't really get any kind of firmness. This was adapted from a recipe that actually had an egg in it, and instead of the egg, we're going to put in the whole wheat flour. And what that does is the gluten in the whole wheat flour creates the kind of extra glue that keeps it consistent and well formed without having to add any egg. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. You can see we're getting a lot of moisture out of the mushrooms. While this is cooking, I'm dicing one large yellow onion. You can use a white onion, a sweet onion, whatever you prefer. It does not have to be finely chopped. It's all going to go into a Cuisinart, so it just has to be very coarsely chopped, very quick, very simple. And it gives you something to do while you're waiting for all the moisture to come out of the mushrooms. Now note that this package of mushrooms from Trader Joe's, the sliced crimini mushrooms, is 10 ounces. But the recipe that I sent to you was 8 ounces. It is completely a variable that does not make a big difference. So you can use 6 ounces, 10 ounces, 8 ounces, it doesn't matter. You can use a huge onion, a small onion, depending on kind of what flavor profile you want. Not very sensitive to the ingredients changing unless it's dramatic. So you can see we turned up the light here a little bit. We're almost done. This probably takes about 7 to 8 minutes, depending on the temperature of the light that you have on your burner. All right, we're at the point where the mushrooms are done. There's no more moisture, and it is important to get all the moisture and water out. Otherwise, they could be a little bit on the mushy side once you grind them up in the Cuisinart and fry them again. So we can see there's no more moisture coming out. We don't want to burn them. So we're going to put these either directly into the Cuisinart bowl with the blade, or we're going to put these into another bowl, and then we can dump both the onions, the garlic, and the mushrooms into the Cuisinart all at the same time. All right, we've got the same hot pan. We're keeping it hot. I'm going to use avocado oil. This is the Trader Joe's avocado oil. You could use olive oil, whatever your oil of preference is. We're just going to put a little bit in, 1/2 to 3/4 of a tablespoon. Then we're going to take our coarsely chopped onions and put those in. You can see you do not need to dice them finely or anything like that, because again, they're all going to be ground up in the Cuisinart. And when we grind them up in the Cuisinart, we make sure to not grind them too much, so that we don't want to end up with a paste. We want to end up with something that's relatively coarsely chopped to give it a little bit of texture. Which, by the way, if you want some crunch in this particular version, you could add sunflower seeds or even pine nuts. We have added sunflower seeds in the past to give a little crunch. Salted or unsalted, roasted or not, depending on your particular preference. So unlike most recipes that say brown the onions or cook until translucent, and they often say 3 minutes, which is mind-bogglingly inaccurate, this is going to take 7 to 8, possibly a little bit more to get the onions to be cooked as much as we like. Again, personal preference. If you like them browned and blackened, that's up to you. If you like them just barely translucent, you can do that as well. All right, while the onions are cooking and browning, I went and got 7 garlic cloves. You could put in 0 garlic, you could put in 12, you could put in 3, depending on how much you like garlic. And we used the back of the knife technique to smash each clove, easily peel off the skin. And here's the 7 or 8 cloves that we are going to now chop. I tend to finely chop these just because we're not going to be putting them in the Cuisinart for very long. So if you like big chunks or slivers, then you can certainly do that. Otherwise, I'm going to go now finely chop those. Okay, the onions didn't have quite enough oil. I added a little bit more. And since they're almost done, we're going to add the chopped garlic. So this is the fineness level that I chopped. We're going to dump that in. We're going to stir that into the onion mixture. And we're going to probably cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes. Don't want to burn the garlic, of course, but some of us are sensitive to raw garlic, and so we're going to brown these a little bit, let them cook for about 4 minutes, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. It's been about 3 minutes, and the garlic's just about brown, perfectly how we like it. So we're going to take this off the light, and we're going to dump it into the Cuisinart bowl with the blade attachment at the bottom already in. The mushrooms are already there, so we're going to dump the combined mixture straight from the pan into the Cuisinart bowl. Okay, while the combined mixture is cooling in the Cuisinart bowl, we're going to take a ½ cup of the oven-toasted old-fashioned organic oats. These are relatively quick oats. They don't take very long to cook, maybe 6-7 minutes. So if you used the full, thick oats, that would probably be too coarse for this. So we've added to our bowl of dry ingredients 1/2 cup. Now the reason you might ask, why does oatmeal go in there? There's 2 reasons. First of all, it will absorb any extra moisture, and it gives a little more texture, more like a real burger texture. So the next thing we're going to do is add, in this case, Bob's Red Mill 100% stone ground whole wheat. We're going to add 1/2 cup to the dry mixture. Now at this point you can add any spices that you want. In our particular case, we've got Trader Joe's organic black pepper. You could put red pepper, cayenne if you like it spicy. We're going to put 1/8 of a teaspoon. We're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of Trader Joe's sea salt. Probably, oh, this is not iodized. You could use whatever salt you prefer. We're going to put in again 1/4 teaspoon to taste. Now keep in mind you could add other spices for a different flavor profile. For example, you could add cumin, you could add a curry powder. It's really up to you if you want to do any of that flavoring, or perhaps in remoulade prepared after, which we'll be discussing at the conclusion. So we're going to mix that up, and now we're going to blend in the Cuisinart, the mushroom garlic onion mixture. All right, we're about to perform the Cuisinart maneuver, and again, it's important not to make it into a paste. We're not going to do it for very long. We're also going to shake it while we're doing it to make sure even distribution. And that's about it. All right, we're going to do 2 things right now. We're actually going to start the nonstick pan warming up so that it will be ready when we want to fry them. We happen to use this green pan, which theoretically is healthier than some other nonstick surfaces. So we're going to put that on the burner, and we're going to start heating it up. So it will be warm in a few minutes. We've emptied the Cuisinart contents with the dry ingredients, and now we're going to combine those. Okay, if for some reason it seems too mushy, you could add more whole wheat flour to dry it out. But this came out, as usual, about exactly the right consistency. It should be effectively a hamburger type of consistency. The pan is warmed up, so we're going to go switch to that view. So we're going to form our patties here by hand, and you can make them, I would recommend on the thinner side to avoid having too much moisture. We're going to rotate the oil that we put in. We put in some olive oil there. Put that in. Normally do about 3 in one. I think this is an 8-inch, might be a 10-inch pan. So we're going to do 3 at a time. And the goal is to have a light that is the lowest possible setting where you still see the oil cooking. So we're going to turn down our light a little bit. The goal is to get any remaining moisture out, to avoid them being mushy, and for them to brown on each side without overcooking. So again, start out with a higher light so that it absorbs too much of the oil, and then what will happen is we'll wait about, depends, probably about 6 minutes before we're going to flip them. Okay, it's been about 6 minutes or so, so we're going to check these. All right, so if you like them more well done, more browned, you can keep cooking them. These are about how we like it. It might need to add more oil depending on how much you put in initially. We're going to keep cooking for about another 5 minutes. Now you can see we've prepared here a plate with some paper towels. So as soon as we remove these, we can put them on the paper towels to absorb any oil that might be residual, to avoid the extra calories. Now while that's cooking, there is an optional remoulade that you can make. We're going to use the Follow Your Heart Veganese Reduced Fat. So we're going to take, let's say, 1 heaping soup spoon, and you could add whatever spice profile you want. You could add the garlic jalapeno hot sauce from Trader Joe's, which I often do, but today we're going to add the Frontier Co-op Indian curry seasoning, and we'll add probably, that's a little less than 1/8 of a teaspoon, depending on how strong you like that. And we're going to mix that up. So we will have effectively a curried vegan burger. You could actually, of course, add the curry powder in with the dry ingredients, as was mentioned previously. Up to you, depending on whether everyone eating them wants the same flavor or not. Okay, we're all done with these. Been about 8 minutes. We're going to remove from the burner, place on our paper towel, and as soon as we finish the rest of the ingredients for dinner, we'll be able to eat those. Feel free to let us know how it goes.